Guys so much for coming. Welcome to today's workshop, and that is the College Fit Check. So my name is Aya. I'm one of the facilitators here at Let's Get Ready. Let's Get Ready hosts a bunch of these college preparatory workshops throughout the year, and today we're going to be talking about all about college list building and what are good schools for you guys. Like I said, I am a facilitator. You guys also might see that Sarah is here. Sarah is our program manager, and she's also going to be facilitating for us tonight. So if there's any links that might be relevant to today's slideshow, just keep the chat open. Sarah might be sending in a couple of things, and she'll also be sharing a little bit about towards the end about how Let's Get Ready can support you to and through college. So as I said today is College Fit Check, and we're going to be talking about how should I build my college list and how can I know if a school is right for me. The goal of today's workshop is to have you leaving here feeling a bit more prepared to answer these two questions. So here's just a little bit of how we're going to do that. So we just did our welcome and icebreaker. We're going to break it down and talk about the elements that go into building a really solid college list, and you're also going to be reflecting on what is going to be important for you, where that important stuff comes from, and how you can utilize that to make a really good list for you. So we just did our welcome and icebreaker. We're going to dissect what makes a good school. Then we're going to talk a little bit about building a college list. So you'll be talking about schools that are fits and schools that are matches. Then we're going to be talking a little bit about how your family can play a role into college planning. And then after that, we're going to be talking about college success. So how to succeed in not only finding a school, but also thriving in college. And then, like I said before, we're going to be talking about how you might be supported through your next senior year and also your college time as a Let's Get Ready student. And then we'll have closing and time for questions at the end. So my name is Aya. I am currently enrolled in the University of Rochester and the Eastman School of Music's dual degree program. I am a political science major, and I'm also majoring in guitar performance. I was born and raised from Brooklyn, New York. And a fun fact about when I was looking for colleges is that I was exclusively looking for schools with residential requirements. I always thought that like living in a dorm would be super fun. So that's definitely something that influenced my college search a lot. I also love The Weeknd. The Weeknd is one of my favorite artists. And there's my Calendly link if you guys want to go further in depth into anything that we spoke about today. Feel free to schedule a 30-minute meeting with me. We will have opportunities later on for you guys to spend some one-on-one time building a college list with us. But if you do have any questions before then, just know that link is always available to you. Okay, so what's in it for you, you might ask? We've got a $10 raffle of the day. So you, by either chatting in a response or a question or unmuting yourself and responding or asking a question, you are going to be entered into a raffle where you get the chance to win $10, and you'll get it in the form of a Tango gift card, which you can redeem at a bunch of different places. So yeah, and the winner from today's workshop is going to be announced after either via text or email. And for every workshop you attend, you're entered into our grand prize raffle. So just by being here today, you guys have been entered in it, and you have a chance to win $25, $50, and $100. So we're gonna need your name for this. So if your first and last name isn't like in your Zoom name, the moderator might reach out and ask you guys for your full name. Don't be alarmed. We just want that so we are able to account for you in our grand prize raffle. Okay, any questions? Okay, I think we're okay. So our first section of this workshop is what makes a good school. We're going to be thinking about what exactly defines a good school and what specifically it means. And the answer is you define it. So defining a good college is a lot like defining a good meal. Some people might love spicy food, others can't handle it at all. Some people might want something more quick and affordable, while others want a longer sit-down experience. And there are also some people that care more about just how their food looks and not necessarily how filling it is. So obviously, a restaurant isn't objectively good for everyone. It is good for you if it matches your taste your needs and your priorities. There isn't really a universal restaurant for everyone. And that same exact concept applies with colleges. So, a good college isn't necessarily one specific place. A good college is a place that fits you the best, and it fits your goals, your learning style, and your environment. So, I want you guys to take just a minute or two and reflect on what you would define as a good school right now. As I said before, there's not a right or wrong answer. It's very subjective, and it comes down to what you guys want in a school. So take a couple of minutes to do that. Xavier says, a good school to me is one that can help me to reach my goals and become who I want to be in the future. Nice. Yeah. So as I said, you guys both have different definitions of what constitutes a good school. Doesn't mean that one is more correct than the other. But the whole entire college experience is a very personalized thing. And you want something that'll fit your goals specifically. And a lot of it goes into selecting a school that embodies this overall arching idea of a good school that you have. So for Natalie, it would be looking for a school with a strong community. And for Xavier, it'd be just any school that might help you reach your goals a little quicker, whether that be helping you find internships or research in the field that you want to go into. Definitely want to keep this at the core of your college search. So now that we've talked about what a good school means, I want to go a little bit further into where that definition might come from for you. So your definition of good usually comes from somewhere either internally or externally. So there are many motivators that go into deciding what a good school looks like for you. And those motivators could be internal or external. So internal factors are things that come from you, what you're interested in, what excites you, and the specific kinds of experiences you want to have during your college career. So that can look like following your passion, gaining new experiences, as I said, higher earning potential even, and being a role model for others. And then we have our external factors. External factors are a lot more about pressure or influence from the outside. So that could look like your family expectations, prestige of the school, what people think is impressive for a college, or even just what you feel like you should want. A lot of the times you can see that there are overlap between these two. Like earning potential is a really good one. Earning potential is something that you could genuinely care about, but it can also be something that you feel pushed towards to achieve. And similarly, I also want to talk about school prestige. I know I said that when I was a junior, senior in high school, I cared a lot about like how high the school was ranked and if it was an Ivy League or a private school or not. And while it's true that reputation can matter in a school, it definitely shouldn't be the only thing that guides your decision. A school being impressive or highly ranked doesn't automatically mean that it's the right fit for you. At the end of the day, the goal is to find a school that actually aligns a lot more with your motivations. And the more that your choice is driven by what you want and your internal motivators, the more likely you are to actually succeed and thrive in college. So as we move forward, just make sure you're stopping and reflecting what exactly influences your idea of a good school and how can you stay true to that through your search of a college list. So we're going to talk now about building a college list. In this section, we're going to talk a lot about what are the most important features of any solid college list. And we're going to be giving you 5 specific steps that you can take to build your college list. We're going to do some reflecting on what's important to you. So expanding on everything that we just did in the last section. And then we're going to be talking about how you navigate your loved ones or your friends, your family, wanting something a little different for you. So the goal of this section is to set you guys up with a more of a general understanding of how to go about building a college list. But like I said before, in the next couple of weeks, there's going to be a lot more opportunities to take steps towards actually building a list. So fit versus match. Before we define any of these, Natalie or Xavier, have either one of you heard of any of these terms in relation to like college building? Yeah. Do you want to share what you think, Natalie? See you nodding your head.
If it could be something like that's almost close to your liking, but there's just something that's a bit awful, and not entirely off, but it's like you might want to go to that college. It has almost everything that you want, but there could be a better one. A
Yeah,
better one that has everything that you actually want and need. That's what I feel like a fit is. It's like it's almost there, but it's not entirely there yet.
yeah, that's a really good idea. Xavier, do you have any idea at all? And I'll share out, but feel free to chat it into me while I'm speaking. But as Natalie kind of just, you almost nailed it on the head, but fit is all asking all about what type of schools you're looking for, like what is it that you want in a college, and what do you want your college life to look like. Very big emphasis on want here. And then a match, on the other hand, is you're going to look at how you fit academically in comparison to admitted students and existing students at that university. So things can be both a fit and a match. Schools that are fits you might really, really want to go to. It might have programs that you think you're going to do super good in. But even though you might think it's a really good school for you, the match portion is a big factor too. It could be a super good school for you, but you might notice that a lot of the average GPAs are either much higher than yours, or the test scores might be a little bit higher than yours, and it might be a little bit of a reach for you. Um, so in this section, we're going to be talking about how you can find the perfect balance of fit and match, because you want to have a little bit of both in each. You obviously want to have a school that has a lot of your goals, that is high achieving school, but you also want it to be a school where you feel like you'll thrive academically. So first, let's go further into defining fit. Fit. The formal definition we have here is a college that aligns with your needs, interests, values, and preferences. So some of those things could look like what kind of majors that they might have, how's the campus culture, is a bigger school, smaller school, is Greek life very prominent, are there a lot of student organizations? There's also things like learning accommodations. Does that school, if you are a student with a registered learning ability, does that school offer any sort of classroom or testing accommodations for you? And also cost. Sometimes you might really like a college and its programs, but definitely cost can be a really big factor into choosing where you go to school. You want to choose a school that is within your price range. So definitely something to look at. But the biggest key here is to, one, be clear about what it is that you want, and two, be willing to research each school. And when I say research, I want you guys to go on that website and look at everything you could possibly click on. Go on that website, look at the financial aid resources, look at the academic resources, look at the student organization resources, go on their Instagram. You want to get as clear of a picture as you can on that school to be able to help decide if it's something that you actually really want. So I think when I was heading into college, something that I really, really wanted in a school was a school with, one, interdisciplinary study. I obviously am doing a dual degree, so I'm enrolled in two separate schools, but I knew that I also wanted a school that would allow me to take classes in different subjects, regardless of being a dual degree or a double major. I also really was looking into schools with good financial aid. I didn't want to end up really liking a school only for it to be a school that I couldn't afford to go to. And another thing that I wanted to go to, another thing that I considered for my fit, is that I wanted a school that wasn't too big. There are some state schools out there that have an upwards of 50,000 students. I wanted a little bit of a smaller school, and the U of R has about 5,000 undergrads. So I'm gonna say I hit the nail right on the head there. But yeah, so those were my biggest fits, and a lot of the schools on my college list I made sure that I stayed true to all of these things that mattered to me. And now let's define match. So match is a little bit more about the numbers as opposed to fit being more about your goals. So the formal definition of a match is a college where your profile matches or exceeds that of the average student. So some of those factors are GPA, SAT, and SAT. And A match refers to how likely you are to get into these schools. But I do just want to reiterate a few things. You can absolutely be below averages to some of these schools to an extent and still be a match. A lot of these schools prioritize holistic review where they look at the entire candidate and you aren't only defined by your GPA and SAT. I do say to a certain extent because sometimes there are schools that have 3.9 average GPAs. And if you are someone that has historically averaged lower with not much of an upwards trend, it might be a lot harder for you to make more of a compelling case as to why you would thrive in that college environment. It doesn't say anything about you as a person, but it's definitely something to consider. And also, there are schools that really don't factor in GPA as much. A lot of schools, there are schools that only care that you have all your graduation requirements and have met all the things that you need to do. So some of these can be community colleges and in-state schools. These tend to be a bit more they're public universities for the most part, but they're also meant to invite everybody. So regardless of GPA or test scores. So definitely look into that. But yeah, before I move on, just want to say one more time that match factors definitely are important, but it's not impossible. Like the average GPA for like a U of R undergrad, I think is like their average GPA was about a 3.8 to a 3.9 in high school. I had about a 3.7 and I still got in. And there's also a lot of opportunity programs for people that are higher financial need that have been getting higher grades, but still not at the average that allow them to enter these schools. So if you want to learn more, feel free to reach out. But yeah, so the TLDR is that both of these are very important and will end up deciding, well, they'll end up helping you thriving in college. So would anybody like to read this slide? Natalie, yeah.
Academic match supports you in getting accepted into college. Fit supports you in graduating.
Yeah. And why do you think that a fit would support you in graduating?
I remember you talking about majors, so it would probably be like the classes that you're taking within the major that you're doing.
Yeah, like if you're going to a school that has classes that you're actually going to enjoy taking, it's no surprise that you're going to want to keep taking more classes in that school and, continue building relationships with your professors in that department. So the match is what gets your foot in the door, but fits are really, at the end of the day, what helps you do a lot more and really thrive in that environment. It's kind of like the intrinsic and like external motivation that we were talking about. Like external stuff can be absolutely valid, but also you will thrive the most listening to yourself and doing things that you think is best for you. And fits are usually schools that are best for you. So, yeah, thank you so much for answering that. So now let's further explore fits. We're going to be talking in this section a little bit about how schools can be a good fit for us and how you might be able to specifically look for things that you want in a fit school. How can you define a fit school? Like how I said, I wanted interdisciplinary studies and good financial aid. We're going to be looking a little bit about specific things that could be fit for each and every one of you. So we're going to do a little activity and it's going to be all about school vibes. And you're going to be looking at, is this school vibe a fit for you? And you guys are going to look at what are some words or phrases that best describe the typical student at insert school. Oh, oops, I lost my slideshow. 1 second. Okay, there we go. So there is going to be a link dropped in the chat. And the site Niche is a very helpful site for you guys, but what this site is, it has an overview of different colleges, and there is one specific section where students describe the typical student at their slide. So you guys can look at that, but we're going to be looking at like a specific example. So we have chosen Northeastern University for you guys. The typical vibe there is ambitious, busy, and involved. So this Northeastern is it's in Boston, it's a bigger school, pretty fast-paced school. And for me, I would say this school is probably like, I'll probably like be in between there. I like the ambitiousness and the busyness. So I think this school would kind of be in the middle for me. The only thing that wouldn't make it a fit is that I don't like the area. So if you guys think this school is good for you, if you like these words, you react with thumbs up. If it doesn't sound good, thumbs down. And then if it sounds just okay, it's that emoji. And then I will also drop the link for you guys so you can look at this in your own time. It's a super helpful resource. Natalie, what you're thinking there? Yeah. Xavier, do you have any thoughts? So the next school, CUNY Baruch. Baruch is business oriented, diverse, and fast paced. I think I like this one. Like, I definitely enjoy a school that considers a lot of like different backgrounds and identities. Thumbs up from Xavier too. Nice. And there's SUNY New Paltz. So people said there's a lot of different people, hippie, individual. I'm gonna go thumbs down for this one, only because I really value like community in a school. And I think Natalie, you said that you also like community. So that's why I would go probably thumbs down on a school like New Paltz. Yeah, I think community is super important. Um, the next school, NYU, driven, independent, and goal oriented. I like this one. I think for NYU, they use a better term here. They use independent rather than individual for New Paltz. I think learning independency is good. And they are a pretty driven school as well. So, yeah. Our next one, Howard University. Students describe it as work hard, play hard, very fun, but goal oriented. I'd also probably be in the middle there. And then our last one is Temple University. So people describe it as diverse. There's no typical student, and everyone is their own person. I'm gonna probably be in the middle there again, just because I feel like I really do value a lot more of like community. Yeah. Okay. Now for the fun parts where we get into a little bit more of the specifics of fits. So for this part, you guys are actually going to be drawing all over my slides. So get ready to annotate. If you are on a computer, you're going to be looking for this little pencil icon. It's either going to be at the bottom left or under those three dots, and you're going to select the stamp option, and then you'll get a stamp. And if you're on a phone, you want to look for the pencil icon and then look for the annotate or arrow option and use one of them to add a symbol. So for this, we're going to be looking at this slideshow right here. And you guys are just going to put stamps on things that matter to you in a college, or we're going to be defining what your fit factors are. So let me know if you guys are able to annotate. Yep. See yours, Xavier. Natalie, are you?
And no, I don't see the pencil icon.
Hmm. Pencil icon.
Wait, maybe if I do my phone like this, maybe I might see. Um, no, I still don't see it.
Okay, that is fine. Well, Xavier, feel free to put your annotations. Honestly, if you just want to look at this list for a little bit and like look at things that you feel are like good factors, you could either like share them out loud or write them in the chat.
Okay, for me, it would be low cost, performing arts, good financial aid, mentorship, internship, near home, and activism, and also diverse.
Mhm. And then
I'm
Xavier
not a
said,
sports person.
no. Yeah, me neither. Xavier said, my major, people like me, cities, and internships. I'm gonna think about what I wanted. I think I definitely cared a lot about internships too. Really good that you guys are thinking ahead about this. But yeah, I definitely like wanted to get hands-on experience at whatever college I ended up going to. I think it's gets you a good look on whether or not you will succeed at that school. Like if it's going to help you succeed in your career. And I think I'm really glad I did that because at the U of R, I already had a couple of internships, which has been really nice. And I know that some of my friends at different colleges that didn't really consider that are kind of in the process of like looking for internships on their own. So definitely, I'm glad I looked into school with good internships. Um, and then I always noticed that good financial aid is like something um important too. So we're going to be talking a little bit more about how to make schools financial fits. As I've mentioned before, we have more opportunities to talk about financial aid in the future. We have an entire workshop on financial aid, but we're going to be talking a little bit about how to consider financial aid in terms of um, college list building right now. So that brings us to our next slide, financial fit. So if you've gone to previous workshops, you know we love this slide. You've definitely seen this in other workshops before. And this is always a really helpful slide, but it's particularly helpful in your college list building because one of the biggest ways to find schools that are good for you is by from the get-go looking for schools that have better financial aid to begin with so you don't end up in a situation where you've already put so much work into writing your supplementals for this school and interviewing and any supporting application material only to get your financial aid package and realize that it might not be possible for you to attend that school. So when you're looking for your schools, just make sure that they're within your price range. And I don't want to go into every single one of these because I know that we definitely have spoken about it before, but just as a quick reminder, you want to look for schools that already have lower sticker prices. So these are your in-states and tuition-free schools. You want to look for schools with good financial aid. So schools that meet your 100% of your demonstrated need. These are your need-based schools. And then also schools that have a lot of academic scholarships for high performing students. So these are all hyperlinked with a bunch of different schools. So feel free to go back into that. You're going to get these slides over text. So please refer back to this and take your time looking through each one of these sections and looking at the schools in each of these sections. Okay, now we're going to be further exploring your matches. So this is where we start talking a little bit more about the numbers and how to consider matches in your college application. So the way that you want to look at it is you want to break it down into about three categories. You have your safety schools, your match schools, and then your reach schools. just by a show of hands or thumbs, if you will, have you guys heard of these terms before? Safety, match, and reach. Yeah. Hmm. Xavier, you have to. Okay, perfect. So take these numbers with a grain of salt for like how many you should apply to, but there's typically three categories of the schools you want in your college list. First, and everyone should have these, you want your safety schools. Safety schools are schools where your GPA or SAT/ACT exceeds that of the average student. And you want to have about 1 to 2 of these on your list. A lot of people don't want to apply to safety schools because of like, you might hold some sort of biases about schools that have higher acceptance rates. But honestly, it's still good to have something to fall back on the off chance that you get rejected from all of your match schools and all of your reaches. You still want to know that there is a school that you have the option to go to. So whether this is your community college or in-state universities, have at least 1 to 2 safety schools that you know that you could absolutely get into. And then you want to have the bulk of your college list should be match schools. It's schools where you meet the academic expectations and have similar profiles to the average accepted students. So that is about 2 to 4 schools. Again, if you are applying to more schools on average, you want to have more of each one of these categories, but the match should still be the bulk of it. And then finally, you have your reach schools. So, reach schools are schools where you don't quite meet the expectations or have the test scores or GPA that the average student has. And I would still want both of you guys to have at least one or two of these in your college list because as I said, like the numbers do matter at the end of the day. A lot of schools value holistic review, and there's a lot of programs that are meant to be opportunity programs that are meant to get students that are right under those averages into these schools. So even if you are scared, apply to those. But as I said before, your match should still be the bulk of your college application. Um, yeah, so a really helpful tool for this is admissions calculators. In the previous workshop, we spoke a little bit about like finding those averages. I know we had a couple of activities where we looked at schools' average GPAs. And so another really helpful way to do this is by looking at admissions calculators. Please note that these don't always have the full story of students, but it's still a pretty good tool to use. So admissions calculators are tools that can help you understand how your academic profile compares to a school's previously admitted students. To use it, you're going to want to make a free account, input what your unweighted GPA is, input your test scores, and select a school. So just looking at this infographic right now, I'm going to annotate. We see that most students at this school have higher GPAs and higher test scores on average, but that does not mean that a person that sat right here didn't get in. So this person had probably around a 2.8 GPA with about, I want to say 1,000 on the SAT, and they still got accepted into this school. Notice that a lot of people in this range got rejected, but still that one student was able to get accepted. And if you're someone that is like a bad test taker, but you do really good on like in school, like for in terms of your GPA, that's something that could also help you. Having a GPA and like a lower test score, or vice versa, is something that could be helpful. So definitely want to keep that in mind. We see that here too. This person got a 1,600 on the SAT, but has about 2.6 GPA, got admitted to the school. So take some time on these admissions calculators, and it's just a way to get you familiar with the numbers of the school and how you might fit into that. So let me clear my annotations here. And also, before we move on, I know a lot of this just sounds like numbers and can feel a little demotivating, but just know that this is exactly what it is. It's just numbers. A lot of these admissions calculators don't have access to what the students' stories were. We don't know why some people's GPAs were lower. They could have had a family emergency to deal with. They could have been navigating their own illness. They could have lost someone close to them. There's a lot that goes into the admissions process. So while you should look at it in terms of numbers, you also want to consider that this is only one angle of the application. You are more than just numbers, and you can absolutely get accepted into a school if you are able to express your story in a clear and concise way. So now we've explored both fit and match, but let's talk about how you incorporate both of them when you're building your college list. So balancing fit and match in list building. The goal is to find a good balance between match and a fit while you're starting to build that list. You don't want to do this later on while you've already been accepted into all these schools. You want to start thinking about this right now. So think of it like packing your suitcase for a trip. Match, you know what's needed for the environment that you're going to be in. And fit, you know your favorite clothes and what you'll feel good and confident wearing. So let's say that you're going to, let's say you're going to Morocco and you are going to be camping out in the desert for a couple of days. You're probably going to be very hot. So you're probably going to want to pack clothes that are lighter and more breathable, but your favorite article of clothing might be one of your winter jackets. Just because it's your favorite article of clothing doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to aid you in this trip. So just look at it that way. You want to, in terms of colleges, you want to, one, get into a school, and then two, be successful in that school. So you want to consider both of these very well and see how you might be able to compromise between the two. For example, back to this vacation analogy, you might also have a secondary favorite piece of clothing. You might have a favorite shirt that is more appropriate to bring in like a warmer environment. Totally bring that. Okay, yeah. So the reason why it's important to bring in both fit and match is because one, you're going to want to get into the colleges, and two, be successful. So as you research colleges, look at not only criteria, but also research the schools to see if it matches your criteria. Creating a college list. Here are 5 steps that you are going to be taking to build a college list. So first, everything starts with your fit factors. Before you even think about specific schools, you need to be clear on what it is that you want and what matters most to you. I completely forgot to clear my annotations. And then step 2 is you're going to create an initial list. It doesn't have to be perfect. It is just a starting point to look at. And after that, you're going to want to make sure that your list is balanced. And that means having a mixture of those safety, match, and reach schools that we talked about. And then after that, you want to extensively research every single one of these schools. And this is where you're going to see that your list is going to change. The more that you research schools, you might find that you want to drop certain schools. And the more you research a school, you might find out that you want to apply to a specific program in that school or early decision to that school. So this research exploratory period is what's going to be almost the make or break section of your actual list. You're going to either be dropping schools or adding new ones. And finally, step 5 is before you lock anything in, you want to go back into this new list and just double check that you have a good balance between fit, what you want in a school, and whether or not you're a good match there. So like I said, just make sure you have a good mix of your safety schools, your match schools, and your reach schools. I know this was a lot thrown at you guys, but I just want to reiterate that you're not doing this alone. I'm here for you guys. Your coaches are here for you guys. And just know that we are here to support you while you're building this list and also in your senior year and even beyond them. So that's what we're here for. And if you ever feel stuck at any point throughout this process, feel free to reach out to us. And I am happy to help you guys. So now we're going to talk about family and college planning. We're going to be talking about whether what to do if your family and friends have a little bit of a different opinion on where you want to go to school. So family and impact and perspectives. So how many of you guys have family or other loved ones have opinions on where you go to school? For me, all I heard was you better go to a school that can make you a doctor, or go to a school that's close to us. My family definitely had a lot of opinions. So, I know Sarah also raised her hand. Family can definitely, for some, be a very rich source of motivation. They can be the people that you're doing this for, they can be your support system throughout it. But it is really important to realize that while your family is able to support you in other aspects of your life, in terms of finding a college that's good for you, they might not be able to help you through this. Um, Especially for me as a first gen student, I was the first one to apply to college in my family. So my family wasn't able to fully grasp all the schools that I wanted to apply to. What mattered to them was that I stayed close. But for me, I knew that I wanted to get a residential learning experience out of college. And they weren't necessarily able to understand that, but that I think I obviously valued their opinions, but realized that something really important for me was being in a dorm and getting to meet a lot of new people. So I definitely listened to them, but I also just took some time to explain to them that that's what I wanted in a college. So also want to say that each one of our relationships with our families is unique. This doesn't only have to apply to families. This could just genuinely be anyone that is close to you, that cares for you, and that is invested in your growth process. Um, so finally, when it comes to what college we attend or career we pursue, our families and or loved ones definitely may or may not have opinions. And it's just important to remember that you want to stay true to yourself throughout it all. You're the one that's going to be applying to these colleges. You're the one that is going to get this degree. And when the admissions counselors are reading your application, they're reading Natalie's application, they're reading Xavier's application, they're reading Aya's application. They're not reading Aya and Friends application. So just keep that in mind. So, like I just said, you want to be true to yourself. The most important thing is that you are true to yourself. And for some of us, that might mean drawing upon your family's motivations or loved ones. But for others, it may just mean choosing to pursue your own path, regardless of what people think that you should be doing. So here's how to navigate when there are differences of opinions. So it's important to balance listening to yourselves and the perspective of others. And here's just a couple of ways you could do this. Hear people out, listen and empathize. You want to set a good tone. You want to listen to them and hear their concerns so that when it comes to you sharing your perspective, they're offering that same amount of respect and empathy and just listening to you. Share the why behind your perspective, and share that a college degree increases earnings regardless of majors. I know when I first told my mom that like I wanted to major in music, she was very confused at first, but like we've spoken about before, college degrees on average will prove to employers that you're capable of attending these classes and navigating so many responsibilities at once. They like to see that regardless of what you studied. Um, Hold on to your fit factors even when others don't understand them. If something that is important to you is going to a very diverse school, make sure that you stay true to that. Don't change that because another person says that that's not the most important thing in the world. If it's important to you, it's going to help you thrive. So just make sure that you're listening to that. And then finally, remember that no matter where you go, success is about taking advantage of the opportunities that are available to you. Regardless of where you guys go, there are so many opportunities for you guys to utilize. So just make sure that you're choosing a school with the best opportunities for you. Like I said before, it's opportunities for you, not always for you and your friends. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so we are going to be moving into our break now. You guys have 5 minutes, go get water, use the bathrooms. And after that, we're going to be talking a little bit more about college success. And then Sarah will share a little bit more about how Let's Get Ready will support you beyond this year. Okay, so that is about 5 minutes. Hope you guys were able to enjoy your break. Okay, so if anyone has reached out to you regarding your first or last name, just remember it's for the raffle. Um, even though both of you guys have already chatted in and unmuted. So thank you guys so much for your engagement. Okay, let's get straight into the last section of the workshop. So we're going to be, no, sorry. Let's talk about the next section, which is building towards your college success. So in the previous section, we just spoke about how FIT can support you in graduating. And in the next section, we're going to start to anticipate how to prevent certain challenges. So yes, while FIT will help support you through college, you also will naturally face difficulties. College is hard, but just know that there are ways to help support you, and we're going to talk a little bit about how you guys can do that. So, did you guys know that 25 to 30% of students who enroll in college don't graduate? Anyone know this? So there are a lot of obstacles that college students might face that sometimes they don't share that can lead them to leaving college a bit early. And while a lot of these problems can absolutely be valid, there are usually a lot of resources to help navigate these problems. While college is extremely hard, there are resources so many resources, so much money and time and effort from people that is being put into helping all of the students thrive. So, the main reasons why people usually cite when they don't complete college is that they feel like they didn't do good academically, they weren't sure what they wanted to study, they couldn't afford their tuition and living expenses, or one or the other, and also mental and physical health issues. So, a lot of these are truly difficult things, but it is super important to realize that many colleges will have appropriate resources to help you out through every single one of these. For poor academic performance, a lot of schools have some sort of tutoring opportunities. If this is something that's important to you, make sure that you're looking into schools that have tutoring centers or staff or people that are there to help you. You also want to look at schools that are able to provide you with any living assistance at all, whether that's financial aid for dorms or whatever it may be. If financial constraints are something, look into schools with good financial aid. And sometimes a lot of students that struggle with mental and physical health issues don't realize that they can go to their schools if they should be going to schools that have resources like Office of Disability Services that they're able to utilize. So a lot of these reasons are especially valid, but just know that a lot of colleges have the appropriate tools to navigate each and every one of them. So plan now for success. Once you're in college, you're going to have the ability to navigate these issues. And so you just want to make sure that you're looking at schools that has the proper resources to help you. So we have a little bit of a reflection question in this section. And the question is, what is one thing that you do now that has helped you academically? So take a couple of minutes to think about this. And then once you have your answer, feel free to chat it out loud or put it. For me, I would have to say, like, my dual degree advisors at school have definitely helped me academically. I know that when I'm struggling with finding classes to fit in my schedule, it can feel a little bit overwhelming, but our advisors are super knowledgeable and they know exactly when I need to take each one of my classes to fit my requirements for both my Eastman degree and my University of Rochester degree. Xavier says that using a planner to manage his homework and scheduling activities to manage my time helps. Natalie said not losing faith in herself. Yeah, a lot of things is just it comes from you just making sure that you, one, believe in yourself, but are also doing things to hold you accountable, like having that planner, having a Google Calendar. So all super good things. Um, so additionally to all of these internal supports that you guys have, you want to choose a school that can provide additional support for you guys. So while you're building your schools list, make sure that you're looking at the resources that they have. If you are someone that has in the past utilized like extra office hours or extra like tutoring abilities, make sure that you're looking for a school that has a tutoring center or opportunities for tutoring outside of class. If you're a student with a disability, make sure that you're looking for a school that can continue to give you accommodations. Honestly, when you're just building a list, think about the things that have helped you and make sure that the college that you're looking for has those. Um, and here's how to approach learning about yourself, which you guys are already killing this. One, know yourself. I feel like you guys have been doing a really good job at like expressing like what is good for you. Keep on doing that. Keep on thinking about what it is that you need. Think about those specific things that we looked at during our fit slide. Think about your initial answers to what makes a good school. Know those things, keep them near and dear to you as you're learning more about these schools. Secondly, you want to empower yourself. Remember that you're the one in charge here. You're making all the calls on the college that you're applying to. You're writing the essay. You're submitting the application. So make sure you just remind yourself that you are the one that is ultimately responsible for a lot of your fate, and that can feel like a lot of responsibility, but it can also help build confidence in yourself and feel super empowering. Three, do persistent research. I would realistically say carve out maybe an hour or two a week, just going back to your college list and looking at those schools and continuing to research what those schools might look like. And even just following the schools on Instagram so that when you're scrolling, you get to see what the schools are up to. Keep doing research to find out what it is that you're getting yourself into and to contextualize more of the school. And then fourth, be an advocate for yourself. Ask the hard questions if needed when we're talking about match. Ask yourself, is it going to be super hard for me to get into this school? Also ask yourself about financial stuff. Like if I get into this school, could I realistically afford it without like a huge amount of burden? And then finally, listen to yourself. Your opinion matters a lot. You're building this list at the end of the day. So you want to think about things that are important to you. So summing it all up, these are things that you can do to build a really good college list. So school support and fit. In the next couple of slides, we're going to be talking about some of the ways that schools can be good fits for you and how they can ensure your success. So academic support, the way that you guys are going to look at academic support could be completely up to you. Some people like a more personalized approach to academic support, while others are a lot more independent. Like my school has lectures that have up to 200 students, but in the same exact department have classes that have 10 to 15 students. So look at what is a good learning environment for you. And outside of just a classroom setting, look at whether they have tutorings, look at if they have opportunities for you to build relationships with your professors, look at any learning experiences that they have, those internships and mentorships that you guys were talking about, and then look at if they offer any sort of accommodation for students with disabilities, if this is applicable to you. Like I said before, I was definitely looking into schools that had a smaller student to staff ratio just because I thought it was super important to have better access to people that are paid to be there for us, essentially. So make sure that you guys are applying to schools that have any of these that feel important to you. And then finally, preparing for your future, you want to think of some things that you want to consider a college that is not only going to help you do good in school, but also beyond school. The ultimate goal of college is to prepare you for life outside of school. So some colleges and universities offer many resources to help you explore and develop post-grad plans. So this could be academic advising, career centers and fairs, paid internships and research positions, any co-op programs that allow you to learn and work while being in school all at the same time. And then finally, work study programs. If working in school is important to you, or if you need that as a part of your financial aid, make sure that you're going to school that offers federal work study. It could just be a great way to subsidize the cost of college. Looking at it from another perspective, you also want a school that is going to support your health, mental well-being, and also physical health being. So you want to have a school that has the opportunities for you to empower yourself physically at all, but whether it gives you free gym access or any workout classes, that if that's important to you, keep that in mind. Free or low cost mental health support. My school does like 10 free therapy sessions for students, and I know that is starting to become the norm across a lot of universities, so definitely keep that in mind if that's something you're interested in. You also want to keep in mind if your school has doctors and mental health professionals of different identities. If you're somebody that really values culture and diverse perspectives a lot, it could be helpful to speak to a doctor or some sort of professional that has a similar identity to you so that it feels a bit more applicable to your case. And then finally, any schools that have good health related support, whether that's good low cost insurance or anything that can help you pay any medical expenses, is super good as well. So consider schools that have good supports for your health. Another sort of support is campus and community culture. This could be particularly important for some. I know it was for me. Consider what real, meaningful, and supportive community might look like for you in college. Natalie, I know you said this is something that matters to you. So you might want to look at schools that have a bunch of extracurriculars and student groups on campus. You might want to look at schools that have extra advocacy or activism efforts on campus. You want to look for schools that could have specific student resource centers like student life buildings or staff that's specifically there to help better the student experience. If you guys are people that are religious at all, and you want to keep practicing in college and that's something that's important to you, look at schools that offer those religious life supports. And then finally, a big part of universities is the faculty and staff that's there to teach you and support you. You might want to go to a school that feels not so segregated as students and then faculty. You want to feel as if you're in one big community and that you can easily speak to the adults at the university. So here's just what has helped me in college. So from left to right, these are the girls in my sorority. They have been a very fun help for me socially and professionally. They've always connected me to great internship opportunities and also just know where to lead me when I am looking for something specific academically. They're very well connected. And also it is nice to just be able to go home and hang out with my friends. The second picture is me at the concert office. I work about 4 hours a week just at the front desk at the concert office, just picking up calls and directing people. It is a very low commitment job, but still helps pay my tuition bill every semester. Then I also have a bunch of cute cafes near my school. And sometimes after a midterm, all you want to do is buy $8 coffee. That's particularly important to me. And it serves as a really good just break for myself. And then finally, my best friend is my biggest support in college. There's nobody that has my back like my best friend. And I'm very glad to have met him through college. Okay, so that's what helps me. So our last section before we hear from Sarah about how Let's Get Ready is going to support you, we're going to be talking about how you can thrive in college and how schools can help provide support, but you are also going to need to understand like what will help you personally thrive. So we're going to be thinking, this section is going to be more about fun and fulfillment. So thrive. Thrive is a verb, and it's defined as to prosper or to flourish. So if you envision yourself thriving in college, what is it that you see? And it could be things that you saw from my mood board, simple as just drinking coffee after class or hanging out with friends or having an on-campus job. But when you envision future future Xavier or future Natalie driving in college, what exactly is it that you guys see? And a general prompt for you guys to follow is this. During my time in college, I want to slash will and then insert. And you guys don't have to share this, but definitely take some time to think about this because I want your college lists to be based off of things that can help you thrive. It should definitely be an important influence in your college building list. So consider things like you like to do for fun, the type of community you want to have in college, things that you're excited to learn, ways you'll grow as a person, and then also professional or personal goals. We'll take 2 minutes, and like I said, you guys don't have to share this. But then after that, Sarah will take it away and talk about LGR supporting you in senior year.
Awesome. I see y'all posting in how you see yourself thriving in the future, which is amazing. I hope you continue to think about that as you all prepare to head to college. So I want to talk a little bit, just a little bit, about what LGR has for you during your senior year. And I say a little bit because we are in the process of revamping what our support will look like. So a lot of the things I say here may or may not hold true in the future, but just to give you a snippet of what we have been doing for the past few years, we have a Core Plus program. So we have a few different programs at LGR, and it all depends on where you're at in your high school year or in your college year. Natalie and Xavier, you both are high school juniors, so you are in our Access Core program. You probably have been texting your coach or noticed that you've been getting text almost every week. And that is a current college student coach who texts you and supports you over text only. As you go into your senior year, you can continue with that same format where you get weekly text and can text back whenever with questions, or you can choose to opt into our Core Plus program. With this program, you'll get monthly calls, either video or just like phone call. You also get monthly emails with a bunch of information, whatever's relevant at the time. And it's a lot more personalized and one-on-one. So if you are interested in Core Plus, definitely just look out for a text about that later. Sorry if you hear my dog. So in let's see, the program that you are all in now, you're automatically enrolled for this program. So if you don't opt into Core Plus, you'll be automatically opted into our core program. You typically just get weekly texts with some sort of reminder, a tip, or a resource to just help your college and financial aid applications. And those messages are crafted by a Let's Get Ready staff and then scheduled out every week. So your coaches don't typically write those messages unless we ask them to share like a personal experience. So those are scheduled. But once you respond, a college student coach responds to you. So I know sometimes our messages look like they're from bots, but they are not. But just know that whenever you respond, your coach is responding to you. And this is like an all-year program. So we run from August to August with like a 1 week break as you transition into your next program. You can review the slide later, but it's just an example of what our senior year message could look like. For the Core Plus program, you really get to know your coach here because they chat with you like on a very personal level. They don't have scheduled messages. A staff isn't writing their messages, they're writing it. And they really get to know you and you really get to know them. So y'all will chat over text, schedule monthly check-in calls. They'll send out emails with resources and information. They really track your progress to make sure that you aren't slipping, you're not missing anything. And this is really for students who want that kind of one-on-one relationship, and really need some guidance or want some guidance throughout the process, or just having someone to kind of keep you on track. So that's Core Plus. This is just some feedback that we got from our survey. The student had said the most helpful area was during the one-on-one call, which was short because they didn't have a lot to work on, but it definitely made the student feel more, it made them feel like they had someone on their side kind of with them during the journey. This is an example of another text message that we can skip over. These are just some feedback that we got during our mid-year survey. Y'all can check that out later. But details to come. We normally have a sign up link at this point, but we are revamping our programs. So more to come later. You will most likely hear about Core Plus or any changes over text. If not, definitely over email. But once we kind of finalize things, you'll kind of get information later. So just keep it in the back of your pocket if you are curious in Core Plus. If you have any questions, you can ask Daisy or Joe. They are the Core Plus managers. I am the core manager. I can obviously also answer your questions. But yeah, that is all I had. Any questions as of now? Any questions about either programs? Cool. If you do think of it, feel free to drop it in the chat and I'll revisit at the end. Aya, do you want to take over screen share or you want me to keep going?
Honestly, you can keep going. I have everything pulled up here.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of our workshop. Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing. I would highly recommend that you guys look into either if the Core Plus program works for you. I think I did that either my freshman year or my senior year, and it was nice to just get phone calls from a coach. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I did it. It was great. But yeah, so today we talked about the things that you should be doing in the coming weeks and months to begin getting ready for college applications, specifically your list building. And I think the biggest takeaway that I want you guys to take from this workshop is that you should be building your college list with the perfect balance between your fit and match schools, but almost every single match school you have should have those important qualities from your fits. So just make sure that every single school that you have is a really good balance of both and is both realistic and attainable. So taking these steps right now, as I say all the time, is going to like dramatically lower your stress. So do everything you can right now to help build a better list so that you're not stuck in the position where you're in your senior year and you're deciding colleges that you want to go to and you think that, wow, none of these are really good fits for me. So by taking these precautions now, you're going to help avoid any not so fun situations later on. So I really look forward to starting to meet with you guys one-on-one to start thinking about how we can build a college list that has both fits and matches for us. So feel free to share your feedback on today's workshop. You guys will have access to this afterwards, but also Sarah's going to drop actually I could just drop the link in the chat now. The link is going to be Sarah also did it. Thank you. Yeah, feedback always helps. Let us know what you want to see. We always update stuff based off of what you guys said. And finally, we have some time for questions now. If you don't have any questions, you are free to go. But yeah, no question is a silly question. Let me know how I could help you guys right now. And again, if you got to go, have a good night and thanks for coming.